How do you win at social media? That is a great question. In fact, I think it is the question. Everyone would like to know how we win on social media. And that all really depends on what winning looks like to you. So that is the place to start, essentially, is defining your goals. So alongside your legacy and what you want to leave the world with through your business, we also need to look at our short-term goals, and they have to be SMART goals. So specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time-bound. Once you've set your goals, you need to build a strategy around your goals. So understand how your social media fits into your customer journey, understand who your customer are, how they think, look at your competitors, what are they good at, all the sweet stuff where we gain information about how we're actually gonna get towards those goals. So if your goal is, I want to get 1 million followers, then that's great. How are we going to do that? Who are we going to partner with? Who are we going to talk to? All that jazz. The second thing to understand about winning at social media is it's so not just about what you're posting. That's like walking into a room and being at a party and saying, I'm going to stand in the corner and I'm just going to talk at everyone who walks past me instead of having an actual conversation. You have to get involved in the things that your community cares about. You have to reply to stories, you have to comment on posts, you have to look through hashtags, you have to like posts, all of that. And the more you lean into social media, really, the more you get out of it. So rather than just posting on your feed, think about, how can I help other people? How can I help my community? Who can I collaborate with? And build ideas around that, get creative around that. And the more time you spend on there, I mean, literally the platforms want you to spend more time on there. So the more time you spend on there using the different features, the better you will do. And it's actually been said that if you don't use all the features on platforms like Instagram, or at least if you don't use the key features that they want you to use, it can actually damage your long-term algorithm. So you really do want to be doing reels and carousels and live streams and things like that. At the moment, some of the key metrics are, rather than just likes and reach, having shares and saves as well. So you need to aim for people to save and share your posts, and you're going to be doing that through entertaining and educational content. And that's always been the case with social media. Your social media content must be so relevant to who you are, what you're selling, or what your service or offering is. So the more content you can literally build around that refined subject, the better. And that's true of the caption, the images, the videos, everything. The other thing to remember is social media isn't necessarily just a place to dump any image that you can get hold of that relates to your product or service. And we get this when we start working with a business a lot. It's the conversation around how we create content for your social media and not just the other way around. Now, if you happen to have incredible video content and a library of images that are really, really good just sitting at your fingertips, then that's great. How do we use these best? But really, we've got to think about what social media content looks like. Is it formatted for stories? Is it formatted for the feed? Can it be a carousel? Are the images really high res and beautiful, or do our followers prefer something a bit more behind the scenes and rough and ready? And the final tip I will leave you with for today is looking at the different features of each platform. And I think that's the other thing that people kind of overlook quite frequently as well. They come to me and they say, well, I'm posting on my feed all the time. Why haven't I got a bajillion followers? And we need to use stories for their specific purpose and what that purpose is to your followers, and a feed for another purpose, and Twitter for a different purpose, and LinkedIn Life for the internal company culture, and Instagram Reels for, you know, getting creative and video content, and IGTV is a different thing. So it sounds like it's a lot to keep up with, but we're almost better looking at each part of the feed, and rather than saying let's build more and more content, like let's go for quality over quantity, and let's really use each subject in the right place. And I think that's where social media becomes really much more manageable and more effective, is when you have a reason for each place, and rather than posting more and more and more to keep up with the platform, you can sit back and you can think, how does this fit in with my goals? First of all, is this idea coming from my goals? Does it feed into my goals? Do my followers react well to it, or do they just kind of ignore that style of post, and am I posting this in the right place? And when you start to think like that, you really start to become much more strategic and successful on social media. So what we've got is define your goals, create a strategy, create a list of ways that you're going to achieve those goals. If your goals are not panning out that well, maybe you need to change the goal a little bit as well as the strategy. And then we need to use each part of social media as it's intended, and also stop blurring at people and just telling them about what you do, and actually taking an interest in the community surrounding the subject you're posting about. So if I had a brand that supported women's health, say I had a brand that was a tampon brand and it was all about organic and environmental tampons and stuff like that, rather than just saying buy my product, buy my product, buy my product, my primary message would be about the environmentally friendliness of the brand, and it would be about women, and it would be a big sister brand. And I think that's what we've really got to revisit in our marketing, is that your part A, your first key message, is the thing that people resonate with, and your product is a result of that message, and rather than the other way around. So people do want to hear about new releases, they do want to hear about your product and what makes it so great, but they want to hear about what makes it great for them, rather than why you want to sell it to them. So that is my 6th tip, is that phrase everything and how it benefits the customer, rather than how selling it will benefit you. So rather than saying we want you to know this, say you need this because, or your life is like this. So say you instead of we more often. I think that they are my top tips for mastering social media today. But as we know, social media changes all the time. So a little bit of personal development will go a long way, and there are plenty of online free courses and things like that that will help you continue to get there.